How's it going, my evil residents? Today we're going to do something a little bit different on the channel, and we're going to take a look at the weapons in the Black Ops 6 beta. I'm not going to be ranking them objectively worst to best. That would be stupid, especially for a beta. I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of how each weapon feels, how it plays, what you can expect it to feel like in the main game, even with some balancing patches, and what you can expect it to feel like in zombies compared to some old zombies weapons, because I will mainly be covering zombies on this channel, so you can kind of get an idea of what you might want to work into your loadout for your first time booting up zombies when it comes out, or what you might want to use in the open beta that comes out next weekend. If there are any weapons added after this video comes out for the beta, I will add a pinned comment down below of my thoughts on it and some comparisons that it has, so you can find that there. If there is a weapon missing here that you see in your menu, that is why. They're currently updating the beta every day, so if there's a weapon that's not in this video, again, it will be in the pinned comment below. I will put my thoughts on it there. I played a few matches with every weapon to get a good feel for it, and I will be summarizing all for you right here. And yeah, I won't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into the video.
Most importantly, we have to promote general social concern.
I'm going to rank these from least good feel factor to best feel factor. It's not worst to best objectively, it's just how much I enjoyed using the gun, how good it felt to use, stuff like that. With that said, of course, in last place we have the only launcher in the beta, the Sigma 28. This pretty much gets last place by default because it's a launcher. I don't know what you'd expect from a launcher. You're not going to be quick scoping, G-sliding, slide canceling, whatever the kids are doing nowadays with a rocket launcher. It's for shooting down streaks and memeing. If you want to meme in some annoying lobbies, that's what the Sigma is for. It's for streaks and being a shithead, and it fits that well. But it's a rocket launcher, so it's clunky, and it's the big lock-on rocket launcher. It's not like an RPG or something like that, so it's pretty clunky, pretty slow. But I don't know what else you expect from a rocket launcher. Next up, we have the SVD, which seems to be based on just the regular Dragunov like you've seen in Black Ops 1, and it's pretty okay. I think it doesn't quite strike the balance that it wants to of being kind of between a marksman rifle, as this game calls them, and an actual sniper. It's a little too slow and has a little bit too much kick. Be that middle ground sniper. You're better off just using the other sniper in the game. It is much more satisfying. It will do much better for you. I would imagine this would be better in like a hardcore playlist or something like that, and in zombies, it might be really, really good. I would keep an eye out for this one. It feels kind of clunky and slow, and even with all the movement options you have, it just doesn't fit very well into the movement of this game. At least I don't think so. The other sniper just feels much better, but we'll talk about that when we get to that one. Overall, I wouldn't recommend this one too much. I would just wait till you get the other sniper.
What is that?
Next up is the XMG. This thing is really weird, and apparently it is a real weapon. I don't think it's actually called the XMG in real life. I'm not sure what it is based on, but it's really cool, and it's really actually fun to use. From here on, all the weapons pretty much are satisfying to use, and I like how all of them feel. The SVD and the Sigma are kind of outliers. I think I was kind of ripping ass in some of these lobbies with this, and I think the main reason for that is everyone's using SMGs and ARs, and they don't expect me to just be laying down 100 bullets on them, and I think that's why this one's skewed to be feeling better than it might be. So I knocked it down a little bit because of that. People aren't using LMGs in this beta. At least I haven't really seen anyone using the LMGs or the single LMG. And I feel like the performance is skewed a little bit because of that. So I dropped it a little bit. It does feel nice, but as the game goes on, I feel like it's gonna feel worse because it slows down a lot. It's not like Black Ops 3 LMGs where you just have default assault rifle movement speed with them. No, you are noticeably slower with this thing, and it makes your movement feel sluggish at the cost of, bigger mag. That's what LMGs do. And in a movement-based shooter like this is proving to be, I don't think it's gonna be that good. Like, it's good as far as like shooting wise, but movement wise, I think it's kind of weak, and I'm not sure how well it's going to hold up in context with the rest of the game's sandbox once the actual game comes out. And in zombies, I think this thing is going to be an instant skip because of how slow it is, unless there's attachments or augments or something like that that make you move much faster with this thing. Otherwise, I think this thing is pretty much going to be just like sit on the shelf unless I need it to grind camos. Yeah, I'm probably not going to use this thing too much, which is why I put it kind of last here, because I liked using it. It felt nice, but I don't think it's going to hold up too well as the game goes on.
Commandos, the commandos. Tiger Mafia. Super Kicker.
Next up is the XM4. This is kind of the default assault rifle, and it's almost exactly the same as it was in Cold War. If you use the XM4 in Cold War, same exact thing, just your default regular assault rifle, moderate recoil, moderate damage, moderate reload speed, pretty moderate everything. It's the most neutral. It's the ketchup of weapons in this game. It's the ketchup of this game. Yeah, it's probably going to be your go-to when you get started, but as you play it more, you're probably going to want to experiment with other more interesting sauces that suit your flavor palette a little better, but it's always nice to go back to ketchup every once in a while. And I ranked it a little low because in zombies, the XM4 wasn't particularly good. The damage just did not keep up in the higher rounds, and in multiplayer the XM4 was just kind of good. It wasn't like good, it was just good, if that makes sense.
Had a dream about turning into a dog, a fucking Pekingese. Situation normal, relatively unfucked up. Whoa, just had a hell of...
Next up we have the Marine SP. This thing is the most inconsistent weapon on this entire list because there were sometimes I would be stuffing the barrel of this thing up the enemy's asshole and it would not kill them, and there would be other times I'd be across the room from them and it would destroy them. I don't understand what is wrong with this thing. I don't know if it needs attachments or if it needs to be fixed or if the pellet spread is just really weird, but it doesn't feel right sometimes. It feels really, really satisfying and really good when it hits, when it's working, but sometimes it's not working. I think this thing is a little bugged. I'm gonna put it right in the middle here because this is basically the Hauer 77 from Cold War, or like the trench gun or the stakeout from Black Ops 1, just that kind of shotgun. So, and those are proven pretty good, or it's like the KRM from Black Ops 3. Those have proven pretty good in zombies. So I'm gonna put it like in the middle here because they're good, but in multiplayer, this might be a skip if they don't fix that. I don't know if it might just be a skill issue. I might just not be using the shotgun effectively. I will admit I'm not the best at multiplayer in this game, but it felt really inconsistent to me. I really liked it when it was working for me, but there was just times where it was just not reliable sometimes.
I am not doing any hoeing.
I don't even know what hoeing is.
Yeah, well, hoeing anyway, you don't need a hoe. There's only one.
Next up is the GS45. This is a pistol. It's basically just going to be your USP from Modern Warfare. It feels pretty much the same. It's no different than how the USP would regularly feel. It's like a moderate fire rate handgun. You can dual wield it. I never unlocked dual wield, but I imagine this thing is going to excel at dual wield because it has pretty good damage per shot. The rate of fire is just low. So if you spec it for low rate of fire with some laser sights, dual wield it. Pretty sure this thing is going to rip through people, but I don't have time because I have a job. I don't have time to unlock dual wield in the beta to test it for this video, but I assume it's going to be good. It's a solid pistol. It's outshined a lot by the other one, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Overall, solid choice. Good just as a backup to whip out if you run out of ammo. Overall, very satisfying, very fun. I feel like in zombies, this is going to serve kind of a similar role to the 5.7s from Black Ops 2. That's what it feels most like to me, at least. And overall, pretty solid, pretty fun. Next up is the knife. Knifing feels really, really good in this game. I like that it has a dedicated slot and I don't have to miss out on one of my weapons. So I could be like, if you're grinding out camos, you can just grind out your rocket launcher while still doing your melee if you want to. Just passively do those while you do your main weapon. So that's a huge plus on this. I've noticed some people don't know how to pull out the knife. I don't know how to pull it out on PC, but on console, you just hold the melee button. That's either going to be B or the stick for you. Just hold it down. You'll equip your melee weapon. I think it feels really good in this game. And I feel like you have more attack sprint when you melee. I don't know if that's totally the case. I didn't go out of my way to test it. It just felt that way. You might just have a lot of extra movement speed with the knife, but that's something to look out for. The extra movement speed feels really good, really satisfying, and especially with the movement in this game, all the sliding around and the epic cool omni movement, whatever the fuck it's called, you can do. Feels really good, really solid. Gives Black Ops 3 melee a run for its money because Black Ops 3 melee was so good. Next up is going to be the Ames 45. This is the assault rifle that everyone is saying they like the best. I understand. I just don't normally like high recoil assault rifles. If I want something high recoil, high damage, I go for one of the punchier SMGs. That's just my personal preference, which is why this is ranked a little lower, but I understand why people really like this. With attachments, I could see this being a lean, mean, fucking shooting enemies in Call of Duty machine, but it's just not my cup of tea. I understand why people like it. You're probably going to like this. It's kind of similar to a Galil. It's got a decent amount of kick without any attachments, but it has really good damage, has a really good reload. It's just, you got to get a handle on its weird recoil pattern. So if that's the thing you're looking for, go for this. It also looks cool. I like this weapon as far as how it looks a lot.
And in the naked light I saw
Above this, I put the LR762, which is going to be the other sniper. This is basically Pellington. No, not the Pellington. This is the LW3 Tundra from Cold War, or the L96A1 from Black Ops 1. Or the Intervention from Modern Warfare. It's just going to be your default bolt action sniper. Really satisfying, really punchy sound design. I love how this weapon sounds and feels. It comes with a variable scope by default, so that's a huge plus. That's a huge plus. I'm very happy about that because I love variable scopes and I hate taking up an attachment with them, because if I'm not running a variable scope, I'm running iron sights. I'm an iron sight sniper. Even when I snipe, I suck at sniping. Just, you can tell from the gameplay. I'm horrible at sniping. If I'm sniping, I prefer an iron sight. If I don't have an iron sight, variable zoom is what I go for. Overall, solid. Some of the aiming feels a little weird with the sniper in this game, but I feel like I just don't have my settings set up right. And I feel like in zombies, this is either going to be really, really good, or it's going to be absolutely useless. The LW3 Tundra in Cold War was absolute dog ass. And if this keeps... The problem with the snipers in Cold War was that they don't keep their penetration power when you pack punch them. If this keeps that for when you pack punch it in Black Ops Cold War, if it keeps its penetration power, it will be so good. It'll be so satisfying, especially if you can put an iron sight on it. It's going to feel like the ballista from Black Ops 2. It's going to be so good.
Be without me, Prime. Time to find out.
Next up, we have the AK-74. Very interesting to see an AK-74 be the main weapon, be the main AK in this game instead of a 47. Yes, they are different. That said, it feels exactly the same as any other AK you've used in any other COD game. High recoil, high damage. It's going to be high recoil, high damage, kind of slow rate of fire. It's going to be like your KN-44, your AK-47, all that stuff. You know what an AK is. You either like it or you don't. I like AKs a lot, so it goes in the top 5 of my list. AKs are awesome. In zombies, I feel like this is going to be one of my go-tos. The AK was one of my go-tos in Cold War. I really, really like that thing. And yeah, I'm assuming it's going to be pretty similar here, unless they do some horrible things to the damage, which I really hope they don't.
Just do as I say, will you?
Yes, Jams.
Next up is going to be the 9mm PM. I'm not sure what best to compare this to. Maybe something like, this is going to be your like pocket lower damage pistol with a really high rate of fire. Fires pretty much as fast as you can pull the trigger, except that it has really good damage. It has almost as good damage as the GS45 with a way faster rate of fire. So it's just way more satisfying to use, and it feels a lot more responsive than the GS45 does. You don't have that like hitch in your aim where you're not pressing it at quite the same rate as the rate of fire is, so it comes out properly. This thing, just destroy the trigger, go kill him. So good, so satisfying. This thing also looks awesome. I think this is the James Bond pistol. Looks so good. Definitely use this one over the GS45. In zombies, I feel like this is gonna become full auto when you pack a punch it, like the CZ75s did. That's a long shot guess. I'm just assuming that's gonna happen. If it does happen, I was right on the money, baby. If it doesn't, oh well. Missed opportunity, because that would be awesome. It feels kind of similar to the CZ75s in Black Ops 1. Yeah, I'm comparing a lot of these to older COD games because I don't really play the other newer ones. I'm very much back for zombies, and I just like weapons in Call of Duty games, so I'm covering the weapon.
I can deny it no longer. I am small.
Next up, we have the Jackal PDW. I'm pretty sure this is also a real weapon. I thought this was kind of a made-up weapon at first. The name is definitely made up, but this is just a really tiny AK-74U, but very, very tiny, and also very, very terrifying. This thing is very good, and yeah, it feels closest to me like the SOG 9mm from Black Ops 4. I don't know if you use that in Black Ops 4. Can you put dual wield on this like you could on the SOG 9mm? Let me check. No, you can't. Oh, that would have been so good. Hopefully you can in zombies. Hopefully that's its pack punch effect. That would be incredible if you could do that. But yeah, this thing is so satisfying. It has very good recoil for how much damage it does. You can kind of beam people with this thing, especially with some good attachments on it. Like if you put like a long barrel on it and you have a good stock on it, it's very stable. It's very good. It's very quick too, especially with the movement mechanics in this game. It's very satisfying. Really recommend getting this. I feel like well, zombies doesn't have its old point system anymore. That was, way better. But I feel like in the old point system, this would have been just as good as the AK-74U. It's probably going to serve a similar role as the SOG 9mm from Black Ops 4 in zombies, if you are at all familiar with Black Ops 4 zombies. That's what I'm expecting for multiplayer. Not totally sure. I feel like they're either going to nerf this thing into the ground, or it's just going to always be good. No in between.
Further ado, alright, so let's get this out onto a tray. Nice, okay, so we're going to first...
Next up, we have the C9, which is just an MP5, but they gave it a stupid name. I'm off topic tangent. Call of Duty. You make billions of fucking dollars a year. Just license the gun names again. That's all. Anyways, the C9 feels incredible. Even without attachments, you can absolutely shred with this thing. It's very stable. It does kind of low damage, but as long as you land your headshots, which is very easy with this weapon because it's very stable and has a quick reload, very, very good, very consistent. I didn't have any moments with this gun where I was like, what? I hit him. What the fuck? Never had that issue with this. It always felt like it was my fault when I didn't get the kill, never the gun's fault. And that is what I look for in a gun, because then I know that it's just a skill issue. This thing is incredible. I went on a 15 kill streak with this thing, which I know is not impressive to like the super pros, but to me, as a horrible COD player, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, keep your eye on this thing. I feel like people are sleeping on it because the jackal is kind of broken, but this thing is incredibly consistent. Please do check it out. In Zombies, the MP5 in Cold War was pretty okay, and it feels pretty much similar to that, but a little more stable. So I'm thinking I'm gonna like it, but it's probably not gonna be one of my go-tos in Zombies. Definitely keep an eye out for it as a starting weapon though. I'm sure early rounds is going to be really, really good, really helpful for you. Top dog in this game, honestly, not even close. The SWAT 556, oh my god. This thing is so fun. One burst kill. That's all I have to say. One burst kill. Perfect iron sights. Weapon looks amazing. It looks so good. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. It's gorgeous. Did I mention one burst kill? Yeah. As long as one of your bullets hits the head, you will kill them. It's insane. This thing is really good. I know I'm not ranking these like objectively, but if I was, this thing would still be at the top. It is so satisfying. It's so good. It doesn't quite feel busted because of how good some of the SMGs are. Then you have the shotguns and the snipers to counter the one burst. So unless you're running like a low damage assault rifle, honestly, it doesn't feel as unbalanced as it is, because you do need to land your shots with it. But if not, you could just get the two burst kill. It's still pretty noob friendly, honestly. So I would hugely recommend this thing. I feel like it's going to be really good in Zombies, just like the M16 was in Cold War. Feels just like that, but it has even less recoil, if you can imagine. It's so good. Please check this thing out if you're playing the beta this week or next week. And in Zombies, I think I'm going to spawn with this thing. I mean, yeah, if they have a 1911, my first round, I'm probably going to just spawn with that. But after that, next thing I'm trying, SWAT 556. This thing feels like it's going to shred in Zombies. I'm calling it right now. That's going to do it for this video, just giving some impressions on each weapon, going down the list in order from kind of least satisfying and fun to use to most satisfying and fun to use. Not necessarily an objective list. If it was, so a lot of stuff would probably be shuffled around, but again, it's a beta. It's not going to matter once the game comes out because the balancing is probably going to be different. And, you know, I have like 2 days to figure out the balancing for these weapons. I have a job. I'm not doing all that. Nobody should be doing that. That's what other YouTubers that do this for a living are for. Yeah, I hope you kind of figured out which weapons you want to use most in the beta for this game. I do encourage you to try all of them because it's a beta. Progress isn't going to carry over. There's no point in grinding out all the attachments and stuff like that. So I really recommend just kind of taking your time, enjoying the game, trying out all the weapons that look fun to you. I just kind of wanted to highlight each weapon's pros and cons in this video so you knew what to try first if you're kind of short on time. You only have maybe like a couple hours, 3 hours, maybe 1 day to play the beta. You know what weapons to try first, just to make sure you try them, which sound interesting to you. And I hope you pulled some good info from here. That's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, feel free to drop a like. If you disliked it, free to dislike it, but please do let me know why in the comments so I can make my videos as good as possible. We do have memberships on the channel. In fact, we have one epic $10 resident, Miss Belladonna, that pays for a shout out. So here's her shout out, Miss Belladonna. We do have many other harmless residents on the channel. The lowest entry point, you can look at all the perks on my channel in the description right next to the subscribe and the like button. And yeah, we also have a Discord if you want to chat with me, other residents, share memes, stuff like that. I make lots of various Resident Evil, COD Zombies type videos. So if you're interested in any of those topics, feel free to drop a subscribe. And that's going to do it for this video. Stay evil, my residents.